and welcome to this week's edition of the NWA Wrestling Showcase. Once again, we're in the Plaza Hotel Casino. David Marquez with Rob Conway, and we have 1 week till we make it upstairs to the ballroom. Now, Rob, coming up next, a 60-minute time limit for the NWA World's Heavyweight Championship, where the champion Adam Pearce meets Sean Waltman.
I tell you what, when it comes to a world title match of this caliber, actions speak louder than words.
That's right, and we're going to see a whole lot of action coming up next. Now, mind you, it's a 60-minute time limit match. If it ends before the hour, we have standby matches waiting for you folks right in the machine. So here we go ringside to Todd Kennelly.
Ladies and gentlemen, this next bout is for the NWA World's Heavyweight Championship. First, introducing the challenger, originally from Minneapolis, Minnesota, now making his home in Mexico City, Mexico, weighing 215 pounds, and his opponent, here with his eighth manager, from San Diego, California, weighing 252 pounds, he is the NWA World's Heavyweight Champion, Scrapper I've got two words for you.
Take the belt, show the crowd. That's going home with us. That's going home with us.
Oh, God. Oh, X-Pac. Oh, my God. Fuck. Shut up! Shut up!
You can catch all of wrestling's biggest stars on Championship Wrestling from Hollywood.
And you can put a $sign on that.
Tune in and stay up to date on all the latest stories and action on America's fastest growing wrestling program.
Get ready for the fight of your life.
Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. Check your local listings for time and channel or catch us online on Fight TV.
Who you're looking at, of course, is one of the best masterminds in all of pro wrestling. He guided so many men to world championships in many divisions. This is James J. Dillon. JJ, thanks for joining us.
My pleasure.
Okay. Well, one of the things we were talking about before we went on was, you're synonymous with those three letters. People know you and your image just as much as Ric Flair or the 10 pounds of gold itself.
Well, my roots are with the NWA. I started right here in Charlotte with Crockett Promotions back in 1971, and really cut my teeth growing in the business through the with the various NWA territories. Sam Muchnick was the president for a long time, and I worked for Sam in St. Louis. And in the day, I actually wrestled Dory Funk Jr. for the world title, wrestled Terry Funk for the world title, and Jack Briscoe. So 3 times during my career, I was a challenger, not a winner, but came in second. So it wasn't too bad. But the NWA was very special, and I think what was really something that's been lost is that the title had prestige and meant something, and I would certainly like to see those days come back again.
Well, like we were also talking about, those where the organization itself is trying its best to rekindle that respect, and we have 4 men in our final 4. It's Claudio Castagnoli, the American Dragon Bryan Danielson, the shooter Brent Albright, and the scrap iron Adam Pearce. Now, those are 4 guys currently today that are probably on the top of our business. Who would you say out of those 4 would make a good NWA World Champion?
Well, there's 4 names who I'm familiar with the names. I have to admit I've not in depth followed their careers, so I'm going to pick a dark horse. I would like to see the Fallen Angel is a guy who I have followed his career, and a guy who every time I've ever seen him in action is just phenomenal, and kind of like turning the clock back and going back in time. So, if he got in the tournament, he'd be the guy that I'd put my money on.
All right, Chris Daniels. Chris Daniels. So what was the NWA?
I think what made it so different is that the NWA was a grouping of individual territories, all which were kind of really small geographic areas. And like for my career, I was fortunate enough to be able to make a move, go someplace, say Florida, where I worked for Eddie Graham, and be able to stay there for a year. Now that meant, every Tuesday night I was in Tampa, every Wednesday I was in Miami, every Thursday I was in Jacksonville, every Monday I was in West Palm Beach. So 52 weeks a year to keep coming back to those towns is a real challenge for you as an individual performer, to be able to keep the attention of the audience and not have them get bored with you. So I always knew that a year was kind of where my limit was, that it was time to move on while I still was somewhat respected, so that I could come back and do it all over again later. But because we were in small geographical areas, we weren't flying everywhere. We were traveling a lot in the cars, and we were talking wrestling around the clock every night. And I think that's an aspect of the business that's missing. And I think for me, I did better as an individual. My career was better for the fact that I was talking wrestling every night and wrestling different guys. And really, in those days, someone made the point that now it's come down so much that there's really a handful of guys that are in the world that call themselves full-time professional wrestlers. Back in those days, there were probably somewhere between 250 and 400. So it was an era that's been lost, and I would hope someday it comes back. And the other thing too that is different, in those days we went to the little National Guard armories and the high schools, and we went out to the people, out to the grassroots, and those fans are still out there and they still love wrestling. But now they got to get in their car and they've got to go to a major arena and pay to park and somehow often get lost in a sea of 10, 15, 20,000 people, and they miss that hands-on closeness that we used to have with the fans. So change is inevitable, but change is not always for the better.
I could agree with that. And finally, the current guys coming up, the Adam Pearces and Brian Danielsons, and even guys under them. Do you have any advice for any young talent that may seriously want to consider this as a full-time job?
Well, one thing that I can tell them, it won't be easy. And the reason is because there are so few places to go work, so the opportunities are limited, which means only the best are going to make it, or those that have it in their heart and truly want it. So it's like, for me, I was never the biggest. I was never the best in terms of talent that I was blessed with, but nobody had more heart than I did. Nobody wanted it more than I did or was willing to work any harder than I was. So if you have some talent, if you love what you're doing and you're willing to work hard enough and not give up, I'm living proof that anything can happen and dreams can come true.
You can catch all of wrestling's biggest stars on Championship Wrestling from Hollywood.
And you can put a dollar sign on that.
Tune in and stay up to date on all the latest stories and action on America's fastest growing wrestling program.
Get ready for the fight of your life.
Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. Check your local listings for time and channel, or catch us online on Fight TV.
Once again, folks, you saw it there yourself. Adam Pearce still the world's heavyweight champion via disqualification. Sean Waltman there, if you noticed in the match, his knee kind of took a little crick on him. What do you think?
I think that Vanderpyle and Adam Pearce may be the two smartest men in professional wrestling.
Now, please explain to me, how are they the two most smartest men?
It's simple. Adam Pearce is still the world heavyweight champion, and Vanderpyle is still his manager. So that makes them the top dogs.
Okay, be it as it may. You're seeing the picture still scrolling by. Right there, Sean Waltman's knee. We're going to try to have an update on that a little bit later on, either in this week or following up next week. Up next, an international matchup where Nelson Creed, the pride of Canada, will take on probably the pride in his own mind, Sexy Sonny Sampson. That's coming up right here next. What?
Sexy Sonny Sampson.
Yeah, Sexy Sonny Sampson.
Roll the footage.
Sexy is great. He shuts down, baby.
You're slow, ref! You're the fattest ref in history! I lied, it's Aaron Hassan!
Standing by here with NWA legend, this is Judy Martin, outstanding female wrestler, went all around the world with our organization. Judy, just tell us, what's going through your mind at an event like this?
Oh, it's amazing. This is my first event out here like this right here, and it's amazing seeing everybody you know there.
Come on in, Bobby.
You doing okay?
Good. Hello.
Yeah.
Bobby and everybody.
Yeah, you haven't seen in years. I used to, be around on the road with these guys and everything, so it's really exciting. I'm loving every minute of it.
Great. Now, we know that you've held several titles in the National Wrestling Alliance over the years, and we were talking just before we went on, but you were telling me about a memory you have, and what was that?
Oh, this is about Joyce Grable and myself. We're the first two ladies that ever worked against two guys in the Omni in Atlanta, Georgia. And Steve O and one of the Ruggios, I can't remember his name. And I think it's Jacques, the tall one, the taller one. We worked against him, and that's the first time that ever happened in Omni, and that was exciting too. So,
really?
Yeah.
So, what do you remember, about the NWA? What do you miss about the old territory?
The closeness, and the fans. The fans seem, more realistic now. Back then than they do now, because everybody doesn't have time to talk to the fans anymore. They're so busy going here and there and everything. And the organization itself seemed like it was more geared to the guys and stuff, and they looked after the guys and stuff like that. And now it's just more Hollywood and glamour.
Well, I'm not sure if you know about this, but there's several women's groups out there now that really are pushing some great girls. The NWA Women's Champion now, her name is the Amazing Kong, and she's all over the
Really?
world. Yeah.
No, I haven't heard anything about that.
How about this? If you have any advice for guys or girls, what would you tell them about wanting to make it in the pro wrestling business?
First of all, I think it's got to be something that's got to be felt inside your heart for to be a wrestler, because that comes from within. It's hard to be on the road every day and everything, but if you love it, you'll get out there and really train hard and know what you're doing out there, so you won't get hurt and nobody else gets hurt. So.
You can catch all of wrestling's biggest stars on Championship Wrestling from Hollywood.
And you can put a $sign on that.
Tune in and stay up to date on all the latest stories and action on America's fastest growing wrestling program.
Get ready for the fight of your life.
Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. Check your local listings for time and channel or catch us online on Fight TV.
Well, here now with the Raging Bull, Manny Fernandez. You know him. He's a multi-time world champion within the NWA in different divisions. Manny, tell me, what's going on here? How you feeling?
I'm feeling great, man. You know, got a fan fest going on. A lot of people out here. You know, some of the wrestlers giving back to the fans that come out here and having a good time with them, getting to meet them, people that remember the guys, the legends from the past. And, you know, you got Paul Orndorff, Butch Reed, Bobby Eaton, you know, and Coco Beware, myself, and a lot of people showing up and just paying back to the fans, giving back a little bit something for what they've given us.
That's fantastic. How does it feel, though, now coming through here, you say giving back a little bit and people remembering? What kind of memories does it bring up for you?
It brings up a lot of memories when I see some of these guys that I wrestle with, some of these guys I wrestle against, you know, and just they're doing good. As they're getting older in age, you just want to make sure that all the guys are doing good. You know, we lost a lot of brothers, but some of the guys are still here and they're doing good.
Now, what does that title mean to you? Since you've been around so long and many of those great champions over the years, what makes a good champion?
What makes a good champion is a guy that can have quality and carrying a belt. Know how to carry a belt, know how to use it, know how to take care of the fans, know how to take care of himself. Carry himself with class, number one. Most of all, is carry yourself with class.
And even today, would you say that the NWA World's Championship, it means something still to people when they see that so familiar championship belt?
Yeah, the NWA belt means something, yes. There's so many different belts from so many different organizations, but when you put NWA on it, it means something special to everybody.
But up next, you're going to see Puma taking on the Disco Machine.
I tell you what, I've seen both these guys in action. They're great athletes, but I tell you what, in future meetings, there needs to be Puma versus TJ Perkins. Those guys are both tremendous athletes.
Well, let's see if we can make that happen. Up next, Puma, the Disco Machine from Phoenix, Arizona.
You can catch all of wrestling's biggest stars on Championship Wrestling from Hollywood.
And you can put a $sign on that.
Tune in and stay up to date on all the latest stories and action on America's fastest growing wrestling program.
Get ready for the fight of your life.
Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. Check your local listings for time and channel or catch us online on Fight TV.
All right, folks, we have time for one more matchup, and it's for the NWA World's Tag Team Championships within a steel cage.
I tell you what, a steel cage match is the most dangerous match in all of professional wrestling.
Now, why is that?
Well, it's pretty simple. Steel, flesh. Flesh always loses, and steel always wins that battle.
Well, let's see who's going to lose this battle as the champions, the real American heroes, Carl the Machine Gun Anderson and Joey Ryan, along with C. Edward Vanderpyle. They're going to go up against their, well, arch enemies in Los Luchas. Check this out.
You can catch all of wrestling's biggest stars on Championship Wrestling from Hollywood.
And you can put a dollar sign on that.
Tune in and stay up to date on all the latest stories and action on America's fastest growing wrestling program.
Get ready for the fight of your life.
Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. Check your local listings for time and channel or catch us online on Fight TV.
Okay, folks, that's all the time we have this week. Just remember, one more week till we're up to the ballroom.
I tell you what, I'm excited. Only one more week till we move right upstairs to the ballroom, our new home, the home of the NWA. I'm telling you, if it's not the NWA, then it's not professional wrestling, and it's going to be live. It's going to be in action right here upstairs at the ballroom. Can you tell I'm excited?
I can tell you're very excited. I'm happy you're excited. Don't forget, folks, you can see Rob, the whole cast of the NWA upstairs at the ballroom starting next week right here on Colors Television. So for Rob Conway, I'm David Marquez. We'll catch you then.
Hi, friends. I'm Gentleman Jervis. This is Little Lord Booplesnoot. And this is Thomas. You're watching Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. Don't forget to like, comment,
and subscribe.
What do you think, Lord Booplesnoot? All right. Thanks for watching, everyone. We love you.